If I was doing the radical agenda in Canada, I'd probably be arrested for it, right?
Well, in Canada, hurting people's feelings is basically illegal. I mean, it's not really criminal, but
unless they're white males.
So when did you get into, as you said, the racial stuff?
So this is Christopher Cantwell at Vice News. He's doing an interview. He's very proud of his viewpoint. So he's like, oh, media wants to talk to me? Yes, I will definitely talk to the media.
The Trayvon Martin case happened, the Michael Brown and Tamir Rice and all these different things happened.
Interesting. So Trayvon Martin was fucking bullshit. Trayvon Martin was being followed. He was being followed, and then the person who followed and was stalking him got violent. Trayvon defends himself. The guy pulls out a gun and kills him. That's what these fascists are. These fascists are bullies. They'll start bullying you, and then the moment you say, hey, what the fuck, back off. Why are you following me? Why are you stalking me? Now they're scared. Now they're shooting a gun, right? Now there's a tussle. Now there's a fight. So Trayvon Martin was being followed, not by a police officer, by a self-deputized, police officer. And it was bullshit. It was outright fucking murder, and Florida got that shit wrong. And then he pointed out Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice, he had a BB gun, I think. And while, that's what? What the fuck is that? You got AR fucking 15s and shit, fucking assault rifles, right? M4 carbines and what the fuck ever, RPG grenade launchers. So, you carry every single piece of, military equipment on you, and then you're going to get all freaked out about a BB gun? Tamir Rice, the cop shows up onto the scene and just starts shooting him. Just starts shooting the kid, right? You didn't know if the gun was real, didn't know if it was a pistol, didn't know if it was a water pistol, didn't know anything. But meanwhile, these Nazis are carrying assault rifles out like this and not getting shot. Not getting shot by carrying their guns. That's not holstered, which I think is a very important caveat. And then who else he mentioned? Did he mention Eric Garner too? Eric Garner, who got fucking choked. He got fucking choked to death. If the crime that they accused him of selling cigarettes, there was an argument, and he had actually solved the argument, and then the people that had argued took off, and then the cops were like, well, since we're here, why not fuck with this guy, this same guy we always fuck with.
For it, right?
Well, in Canada,
So first they're shitting on Canada, right? Well, in Canada, we're not allowed to be, our fucking racist piece of shit selves, are we? We're probably get shut down in Canada. And
people's feelings is basically illegal.
Hurting people's feelings is illegal.
Unless they're white males.
So when did you get into
they're white
that?
males. Hurting people's feeling is basically criminal. Unless they're white males, you're allowed to, I guess, hurt white males' feelings in Canada. So you can't hurt nobody else's feelings in Canada, but white men, you could shit on white men all day long, according to this Cantwell. Christopher Cantwell.
Said the racial stuff.
When the Trayvon Martin case happened, Michael Brown and Tamir Rice.
Michael Brown's actually more, that's more in between. But I still wonder why the cop was stopping him and harassing him. He didn't know about the robbery that had happened earlier that day, so he was just harassing him to be harassing him. I don't know. That one's more dicey. But Trayvon Martin, clear as day. Tamir Rice, clear as day.
So these different things happen every single case. It's some little black asshole behaving like a savage, and he gets himself in trouble, shockingly enough. Whatever problems I might have with my fellow white people, they generally are not inclined to such behavior, and you gotta kind of take that into consideration when you're thinking about how to organize your society.
In Oklahoma City.
Okay, so exactly. You have to go back to Oklahoma City to talk about a white act of terrorism,
Roger,
right?
Dylan, Riff.
Okay, so now you've managed to name 3 people, and I'm pretty sure Elliot Rodger wasn't explicitly white, by the way. But the thing is, you remember the names of white bombers and mass shooters, okay? Yeah. Can you tell me the name of all 19 hijackers on 9/11 off the top of your head? You can remember Dylan Roof's name. You can remember
whether white people were capable of violence.
I didn't say capable. Of course we're capable. I'm carrying a pistol. I go to the gym all the time. I'm trying to make myself more capable of violence. I'm here to spread ideas, talk, in the hopes that somebody more capable will come along and do that. Somebody like Donald Trump, who does not give his daughter to a Jew.
So Donald Trump, but like more racist.
A lot more racist than Donald Trump. I don't think that you could feel about race the way I do and watch that Kushner bastard walk around with that beautiful girl, okay?
Can you talk a little bit about the right adopting the politics or the political style of the left?
We don't have the camaraderie, we don't have the trust level that our rivals do. And that camaraderie and trust is built up through activism, and that is one of the tactics that we're adopting.
All right, so that was a good little clip there. He's also actually that was all you needed to know. He's like, he's more racist than Trump, right? He's to the right of Trump. He's wouldn't allow Kushner to date his daughter, which means I think is Kushner a Jew? If that's what it is, then whatever he is hating is exactly who his daughter is going to date. So be prepared for that. He also has a weak spirit. Those who choose evil are weak, okay? So he was saying black savages, people act like black savages, and yet he says that he's violent, and he admits that he's violent. Now, apparently, there may be a warrant out for his arrest. Now, the warrant is out of Charlottesville. He says that if you want to know my location, then you can, call him, and then if he can establish that you're the actual police, he'll show up to the police station, or you can meet him somewhere, and he is armed, and so he's nervous about how this situation would go down. And, I had a warrant out for my arrest for having a library book that was overdue. 7 years. I had, I was moving in between different places, actually. I was homeless, and I checked out a library book, one spot, and then took it to another spot without remembering that I had checked it out. So, yeah, I went and paid the $20, but it was an entire ordeal, okay? I wrecked into a deer, damaged my car. I missed the first hearing, which I had got on the docket, so thankfully I was able to get on the docket without being arrested. And then once I got on the docket, I was like 30 minutes late to the thing, and then, they were like, well, come back tomorrow, and then he even used that, well, contempt of court, I could fuck you with contempt of court. And I asked for a public pretender, and he was like, well, you could sell your truck, and then you could just afford your own public pretender. And I was like, well, can I have my own jury trial? And then essentially he was saying that if I pay the bill, he would take care of it. But he was very shitty. He was very fucking shitty. So he wasn't giving out. This is in Covington, Kentucky. Anyways, God, I'm all about myself. So when you find out that there's a warrant out for your arrest, that's essentially what you have to do, right? You call the police station up, and they should say yes or no if there is a warrant out for your arrest. And if there is, then just, here's what I plan on doing, and just turn yourself in. It's not that, I don't know. I mean, once you go behind those fucking walls, no telling what could happen to you. So it sucks. Jail sucks, and it's scary, and you could be disappeared. Anything could happen to you once you go behind those walls. But shit, he's a fucking neo-Nazi. He'll have plenty of neo-Nazi friends in jail. Plus, some of the jailers might be sympathetic to his fucking bullshit, too. So he's crying. He's so sad. He's crying, and he's worried about how this thing is going to go down, and so he's going to talk about all that.
I contacted the local police. I called the Charlottesville Police Department, and I asked them, I said, I have been told that there's a warrant out for my arrest. And they said that they wouldn't confirm it, but that I could find this out if I, excuse me.
He's breaking up. He's crying. He's crying.
If I wanted to go to a local magistrate or something like that. But with everything that's happening, I don't think it's wise for me to be, going anywhere. There's a state of emergency. The National Guard is here. So I don't think it's a good idea for me to go.
And the way that actually the warrant was executed was they pulled me over for, I don't know, some traffic violation. And when they pulled me over, then they said, oh, by the way, did you check out a book 7 years ago? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, you got a warrant out for your arrest. Get out of the car. I was like, is it because I laughed at you asking if I had a library book that was overdue? And there's a warrant out for my arrest. $20 settled the damn thing. Once I found out about it, right, I took care of it. Go to jail, and then when I went to jail, there was some bullshit that happened there. So, yeah, I mean, jail's not a nice place. It's not a good place. It's not moral, or it's oppressive, and I don't know. I mean, it's your word versus the jailers. If the jailers just want to, pick a fight with you, if they want to rape you, they got the control of the video cameras. Unless they check each other, unless they have like a good head jailer or sheriff in town that, double checks their work. If they're like a small county, any fucking thing could happen. You like to think that they wouldn't fuck with you like that, but shit, people are fucking disgusting. Look at Abu Ghraib. And like I said, over a fucking library book, I felt like I was about to get into a fight with a jailer over some dumb shit. Just, I'm the boss, you do as I say. And it's like, well, what you're saying doesn't make any sense, so how can I? So anyways.
Go there, frankly. And I don't know what to do. I've emailed Stephen Tenney of the Keene Police Department. Sorry.
I don't feel sorry for this guy.
I have emailed Stephen Tenney of the Keene Police Department. He's one of the cops.
He's going to say that he tried so hard to be peaceful. Remember when he was at that protest, how confident he was? He's even criticizing Trump and Trump's kid. Now he's getting arrested. Now he's like, oh my God. And, I don't know. Just, I guess, listen to him.
To came there. He's one of the cops who saved my ass when I had to pull my gun in Keene. And I emailed him and I said, I don't know what to do. I need guidance. I want to be peaceful. I want to be law-abiding. Okay, that was the whole entire point of this. And I'm watching CNN talk about this as violent white nationalist protests. We have done everything in our power to keep this peaceful.
He bent over backwards. We've bent over backwards to make sure it wasn't violent.
But like literally, Jason Kessler applied for a permit like months ago for this. Okay, when they yanked our permit, we went to the ACLU and we went to court and we won. We've been coordinating with law enforcement the entire time. Every step of the way, we've tried to do the right thing. And they just won't stop.
The ACLU defending these pricks.
Everything in our power. We have used every peaceful and lawful means by which to redress our grievances. And our enemies just will not stop. We've been fucking assaulted. They are threatening us all over the place. Chelsea Manning, this tranny fanatic, has a picture of herself, talking about curb-stomping Nazis with a picture of his boot coming down on somebody. We are trying to make it...
We're trying to do good. We're just proud neo-Nazi Americans. We're just proud Confederate Americans. Remember when the Confederacy and the United States were allies in the Battle of Tonkin and World War I? That's what I want. Just America and Nazis, America and the Confederates to get along. They're our fucking enemies, man. And you're siding with white supremacy. White is right. White is the best. You're the master race. Some ugly motherfuckers there for being the master race. David Duke. Stephen Colbert had a great joke about him. He's like, there's the face of the master race right there. And there's been a ton of actually really fucked up looking people that's at these rallies. When you look at a purebred dog, which is an ancestral dog, right? Like the royal families, when you just have these ancestral relationship over and over again, eventually it fucks up the DNA. In Kentucky, there's the Fugates, and they got blue skin. They've been incesting so much. Somebody said that you could check out your family tree at ancestry.com. So the master race, I don't know, you coming out a little choppy, a little distorted, but being ugly is not a crime. So.
It is peaceful. We are trying to be law-abiding, and our enemies will not stop. What?
Being ugly is not a crime, but I guarantee you that motherfucker would insult people for being ugly, and you could choose to be a white supremacist, or choose not to be a white supremacist. Martin Luther King died over some obvious shit, and I grew up around some neo-Nazis. We're estranged right now, so which I'm okay with. And they were sitting there talking about their heritage and their history. Oh, it's all about heritage and history. It's heritage, not hate, right, with the Confederate flag. And at first I was, duped by it. So they were sitting there saying that they were about the state and they were all about independence and freedom, and the state should supersede the national government. And so, I mean, if that's truly your opinion, well, I was, the smart well, the smart one, I guess, of the neo-Confederates explained it intellectually. But then the dumber ones were like, we hate blacks. So it was obvious. So they talk about heritage, their history and their heritage. Well, our ancestors didn't get here until 1869. And they were German ancestors from Bavaria, Austria, Bohemia, Prussia. And then there's even, I got 11% black blood in me. But our, that side of the family are Germans, and they came over in 1869, 4 years after the Civil War. Not a single one of my neo-Confederate family members, none of their ancestors, unless it's on, their dad's side or their mother's side, the opposite of, how we're related. But and I guarantee you they don't know that far. They don't go back that far. Being white just means you have no fucking history. You just, you're just blend in with the dominant culture, right? So they didn't know jack shit about their history, heritage and history. They didn't know anything about themselves. They didn't fight in the Civil War. Their ancestors didn't die in the Civil War. They weren't for the South. They weren't for the Confederacy. And 80% of the Germans that came over here fought for the Union, including August Willich. So August Willich was a German who fought for the Union. A lot of Germans fought for the Union. And Frederick Douglass gave props to the Germans. He said the only thing a German needs to understand the plight of the black man is to be a German. Germans understand black people. They just do. So, my God, Frederick motherfucking Douglass, okay? Frederick Douglass, which I had a professor that would not add Frederick Douglass's voice into the Western civilization's canon when it's probably one of the most important voices out there. So, I bet that's true with a lot of these fucking racists. Go back and look at Christopher Cantwell. I bet you he's a mutt. I bet you he's got a mixture of this and that. And I bet you don't know shit about himself. So, take a look at your ancestors. Are you truly fighting for your history and your heritage? 1860s? 1940s? I don't know. I remember I like the 60s in the history book. 60s are my favorite decade. And the 90s, they weren't as, there wasn't so much fear-mongering, and the internet just came about, and there was actually a lot of culture that was popping. Gas 99 cents, hip-hop, Eminem, Tupac, South Park. A lot of shit came out of the 90s. So the 90s and the 60s, 1990s, right? 60s are before I was born. 90s is when I was coming of age or, during my childhood years. So I don't even really care too much about the 90s. I don't have much nostalgia. I had a little bit today for it. I don't have too much nostalgia for the 90s. And these motherfuckers are saying they have nostalgia for 1860s. I even look at the Union people and I kind of like, with the fucking hats and the way that everything is, it just, I'm for the Union. I'm for Lincoln. They're on the right side of history, but, George Washington wears those powdered wigs. Do you relate to that? I mean, this is just old-timey shit, right? So there's a bunch of old-timey shit. There's no fucking way. I don't fucking believe you. I just don't believe. They don't know about the Know-Nothing riots of the 1850s. They don't know about the Gilded Age of the late 1800s. They don't know about Reconstruction. They don't know about the downfall of Reconstruction. They don't know. They don't know jack shit about shit. They're just fucking racist. And that's another thing that I found out about my, neo-Confederate relatives. Is that they're just racist. They're just fucking racist. So, if you fall for their intellectual arguments, well, shame on you. Because ultimately, just scratch a fascist and immediately the N-word is going to come out of his mouth.
What options do we have left? If somebody would like to inform me of that.
He's saying, what options does he have left? He's getting bullied and everybody's criticizing him and being real mean to him and he just doesn't understand. He's saying, what other options? So essentially he's just like the nuclear option, right? That's the only option he's got left is the nuclear option. So I think he's talking about violent. I got to become violent, right? I mean, shit, I'm a rat and I'm being cornered and I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm scared if I go to jail. Will those neo-Nazis like me? Or will they, what are they going to do to initiate me into their clan? And I'm sure a lot of people make fun of him and shit. I don't know. I don't feel sorry for the guy. I don't feel sorry for the guy, so that's period, right?
then I will be grateful to you. I really will.
He painted himself in the corner. Don't be a white supremacist. Don't just hate people based on dumb shit. There's good and bad people in all groups. Don't just hate somebody because of their color of their skin.
I guess that's basically it. I don't know what...
Martin Luther King, he said, you should judge a person by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Duh. If I was just to look at somebody and I saw that they were wearing, a polka-dotted shirt, which is silly, but if I was just like, God, I hate every person who wears polka dots. Damn polka-dotted fucking wearing motherfuckers. Always with their damn polka dots, right? Polka dot here, polka dot there. You would look at me like the fucking nut job that I am if I hated people with polka dots. But I don't hate people with polka dots. I'm not racist. So... if he wants to not be, say, apologize. Say, I'm sorry. White people aren't supremacists. I have been a part of a hate group, and I'm going to go through this cleansing process. I'm going to change. I'm going to do really hard, and I'm going to change. That Christopher Cantwell, that's how you want to get well? I know you can't well, but if you want to get well, then stop being a fucking racist and apologize. And actually, you could be a huge voice. You could be a huge voice for the anti-fucking neo-Nazi movement. You're a violent fucking thug. You're the one that started the fucking violence. He's going to say he defended himself, but he says that I was engaged in violence. So if there was some videotape of some skirmish, of some scrape between him and other people, then, shit, Jill Stein got a fucking warrant out for her arrest. Amy Goodman got a warrant out for her arrest, just for being there. Jill Stein for spray painting the bulldozer blade. So, if they can get warrants out for their arrest, one for, I guess, trespassing, and then the other one for damaging property, then assault, violence, rape, murder, assault, violence, stealing. These are some big-ass things. So, I'd be kind of shocked if you didn't get arrested for straight-up fucking violence. So you could spray paint a bulldozer, which is a protest. It didn't hurt the fucking blade. And that'll get you a warrant, for your arrest. You could be a news reporter going to the Dakota Access Pipeline, and that'll get you a warrant out for your arrest. But being a neo-Nazi with assault rifles and clubs and pepper spray and attacking everybody and, it's basically being a proud fucking violent thug, that doesn't get you arrested. So good for Charlottesville for issuing a warrant for his arrest.
What else to say? Again... You know what? I'll just say it here. 631-791-5842. If law enforcement wants me to turn myself in, or they want to know my location, all they have to do is call that number, okay? And if we can set up a means of communication where I can verify that you're the police, I will go to the police station or wherever you tell me to go, or if I can confirm that you are in fact law enforcement, I will give you my location and I will let you come and get me, okay? I'm armed. I do not want violence with you, all right? I'm terrified. I'm afraid you're going to kill me. I really am, all right? So, just let's...
It's honest. This seems like there's a private thing here that's going on, right? It's a man who's scared, doesn't know what's going on, and so he's appealing to the public, and he's sitting there saying, look, Charlottesville police, if there's a warrant, give me a call. And then we'll figure it out that way. So, I don't know. It's sad. It's sad, he can change. Just make that change. I want to talk about Chelsea Manning. Remember when he was just giving that aside? Chelsea Manning, that tranny, her, she's got a picture, and they're curb stomping Nazis. And then he even meant that, we talk shit on the internet. That's what Chelsea Manning is doing, but for some reason, that got to him. Beautiful male girl, Chelsea Manning. Even she hates us.
However we need to do it, if I gotta go to jail today, it won't be the fucking first time, all right? I didn't want to. I don't think I should. I honestly believe that I've been law-abiding, and I've been engaged in violence. I have. There's no question about it, and I've done nothing to hide that. But it was done in defense of myself and others, and I would not have done it for any other reason. And by the way, if University of Virginia was not a gun-free zone and I had my pistol, I would have stayed far away from that goddamn melee. Okay, when I do not have a weapon on me, I feel it necessary.
Ted Nugent, he had said, talking about George Brockler, the Republican candidate for the governor of Kentucky, that of course George Brockler knows that the main reason that the Aurora shooter shot up that movie theater was because it was a gun-free zone. That's the reason he shot it up. And here you have a neo-Nazi that's sitting there saying if it was a gun-free zone, he would not have shown up.
To stop threats before they get out of hand. Okay, when I have my weapon, I'm cool as a cucumber, folks. I do not fucking fight with people. You would have heard about it by now, right? If I was a violent guy, you would have heard about it by now. Everybody in their mother wants to fucking ruin my life, okay? And if I wanted violence, it's not a difficult thing for a guy like me to find, okay? Yeah. There we go. All right, maybe I'll be back later. I don't know. I'm sorry for anybody who's waiting on a live episode of Radical Agenda, but I think you can understand, the situation I'm in. Yeah, we'll go from there. All right, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, everybody. I'll try to keep you informed. Thanks.
That was not a good episode of Radical Agenda. I'm sure that did not make his fans happy. I'm just going to mention one thing. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he had said that if you want to make your child good, then make them strong. Because if you could do everything, why would you choose to do harm? If you actually think about it, these fucking Nazis, they got organization, they got all this manpower, they got these guns. Some of them are big and bulky, but then other ones are kind of little puny little shits like fucking James Field Jr., it's a mixture, but I think they all start out as James Fields Jr. So James Field Jr., little scrawny, little puny little shit. In fact, he got kicked out of the military because he couldn't pass the physical requirements. So he can't even get into the military. This little skinny little, and so since he's a wimp, he probably gets picked on. And since he gets picked on, he's a disaffected youth, and now he picks up on this neo-Nazi bullshit. And then, perhaps once you've chosen that as a lifestyle, yup, this is who I am, this is the parameters, start talking to everybody about it, and then acting like, you get to say the N-word as many times as you want, and everybody's so rude and shitty and disrespectful, and it's like, God, this is so much freedom, look at all this. I wonder if you could actually put all that focus, think about all that effort, all that manpower, all that sweat. If you could have actually built a school with that, you could have built hospitals, you could have helped the homeless or helped the poor, all that energy, all that sweat, all them, my God, you could have done so many great things. When you have, he who has everything would choose good, because if you chose evil, then you chose something absurd. Unfortunately, a lot of these Nazis chose something absurd, and, they're organized. They got a lot of guns. There's a lot of physically strong people, but they all started out with a weak spirit. They have a weak spirit. In the very beginning, their daddies didn't love them. Their daddies didn't give them a hug. Their daddies passed on this racist legacy. James Field Jr. didn't have a dad. His dad had died in a DUI. Somebody had crashed into him. An alcoholic driver crashed and killed his father. So he didn't grow up with a father. So, who's there to guide him? Who's there to give him the pointers, through life? The mother, she seems really sweet, and it's kind of hard to not like her. The only thing I'll mention about her mother is that it would probably suck to be him, because she's outgoing, and everybody loves her, right? Oh, come in, we will talk to you, and everybody's sociable with her, and then everybody's just probably just shitty to him, right? Just fucking crappy. And, that dichotomy, she gets all the love and then he gets fucking nothing, and then I think people expect different things. I think people, women they're more approachable, people are more inclined to talk to them nicely and decently, whereas men, it's always, I don't know, it's, as a man, it feels like amongst men, like there's no love whatsoever, and I always got to feel like I got to fight. You have to be ready to fight at all times, which is, I think it's kind of bullshit. Can't I just, win the world over with my smile? Isn't that good enough? Isn't that what women do? Just, with a smile and they're nice and that's it? But apparently, as a man, that's not good enough. You know, there's got to you got to be more. You have to do more. That's not good enough. And you know, and then with women, there's the sexual anxiety there, so people might get confused of who likes who if they're friends. But I think you could be friends with a woman. I mean, why not? So I think that they are physically strong but morally weak, and they've been morally weak their entire fucking lives. So fuck the neo-Nazis, and that's it.